So currently our list item doesn't respond to selections. So if you tap on an item, nothing happens. How can we solve this problem? Well, here's our list item component. We need to wrap our content inside a touchable component. So earlier we talked about different touchable components in React Native. We have touchable highlight, touchable opacity, and touchable without feedback. Most of the time we want to use the first two touchable components because we want to give the user a visual feedback when they tap on an item. So which touchable component should we use here? Let's find out. So back to our list item component, let's add a touchable opacity component. So here's our touchable opacity. Now let's test our app. So with touchable opacity, the opacity of the item that we tap changes for a fraction of a second. So that item becomes somehow transparent. See? I don't think this is a good visual feedback for list items because typically with list items, when we tap on them, we want to highlight the selected item using a different background color. So this is where we use touchable highlight. So let's replace the touchable opacity with touchable highlight. Now, save the changes. So back to our app. With touchable highlight, nothing happens unless we handle the onPress event. So here we set onPress to an arrow function. Now let's test it one more time. Okay, so the background of the selected item changes to black. This is too strong. We want to use a light gray background. To do that, we set the underlay color prop. So this touchable highlight has a prop called underlay color. Here I'm going to use colors.light. Take a look. That is much better. So our list item is responding to selections. However, we don't want to have the logic for handling selections in this component because this component should be reusable. Maybe in one context, when we tap an item, we want to display an alert. In another context, we want to take the user to a different screen. So what should happen when the user taps on an item should be decided by the consumer of the list item component. So here we add a new prop called onPress and then set onPress to onPress. Now save. We go back to our messages screen. This is where we're using the list item component. So the messages screen should decide what should happen when the user taps on a message. So here we set onPress to a function. For now, we're just going to log the selected message to the console. In the future, we're going to change this implementation and take the user to a different screen. So here we're going to do a console.log and say message selected. And as the second argument, we're going to pass this item, that is the item you're rendering. So that is our message. Save. Back to our app. So I select this item. Now look at the terminal. Here's the message we selected. Beautiful. Next, we're going to handle swipes.